today's video, we're going to talk about long exposure photography during the day. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how you can do long exposure photography during the day. And I made that distinction because most of the photographs that you would have seen that are long exposures, they're done at night because it's darker, and that's when it's a little bit easier to do. But what if you want to do them during the day? So today I'm at the beach. It is around about lunchtime. The sun is straight above me and it's just spraying everything with light. So that presents a whole bunch of different problems that we're going to try and overcome today, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Now, before we get started, let's just take 20 seconds and recap what the difference is between a long exposure photograph and a regular photograph. So in a regular photograph, when you push the shutter button, the shutter opens and closes really quickly, and thereby freezing time, if you like, and just taking a snapshot. With long exposure photography though, we want that shutter to remain open for a few seconds so that we can record any motion that's taking place during that time. And if you can leave the shutter open for even longer than that, say 15, 20, 30 seconds or more, that's when you're going to get that nice silky texture on anything that's moving in the frame. And so in order to be able to keep the shutter open for such a long time, we're going to have to reduce the amount of light that's coming into the camera. Now, if it's a little bit confusing, think of it this way. If you're trying to fill a glass full of water, you can open up the tap as far as it will go, and that glass is going to get filled really quickly. But you can also just open up the tap just a little bit and let it trickle down into the glass. And at the end of the day, it's just going to take a little bit longer, but the end result is the same. It's a glass full of water, no matter which way you do it. It's just that one takes longer than the other. And with photography, it works exactly the same way, except we're dealing with light. In order to create a photograph, you need a certain amount of light. Now you can let that light in very quickly in a fraction of a second, or you can close down the rate at which the light is coming into the camera and just take a little bit longer, possibly 15-20 seconds. So how can you slow down the rate of light coming into the camera? Well, we can do the same thing what we were talking about with the tap just a second ago. We can just stop down the lens to something like, say, f/22. That's going to be a very small opening in the lens, thereby letting less light into the camera, and so you're going to have to leave that shutter open because you don't have the flow of light coming through. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can lower your ISO to the lowest possible value that your camera allows. Typically that's somewhere around about 100, although some cameras can go down to 50. What this is going to do is it's going to give the effect of the camera being less sensitive to light. Now, there's going to be times though that even after you do all of those things, there's still going to be too much ambient light in the environment, and the camera's not going to let you drag that shutter long enough for you to be able to capture a long exposure. Now, in situations like that, you're going to have to turn to one of these. This is a neutral density filter. Essentially, it is a piece of tinted glass. You would have seen this referred to as sunglasses for your camera, and that's exactly what it is. It is a tinted piece of glass that has no color casting to it. So that's what, it's not going to introduce any funny colors, but it's just going to cut down the amount of light that comes into your camera. Now, these come in different sizes and helicopter. I think that was a Black Hawk helicopter. So these come in different strengths. This is a big stopper, which is a 10 stop ND filter. But the most common ones that you see are around about 3 stops or 6 stops. They also come in different sizes and in different shapes. Now, this is the most common type, which is the screw-on type, and these just simply screw onto the front of your lens. Now, this one here is a little bit larger than this lens. This one here is really for the lens that I'm using at the moment, which is a 77mm. So it can get a little bit expensive if you are buying one of these for every size lens that you have. So instead, what you can do is you can get these adapters. So what you should do if you are considering buying one of these is buy the largest one that you need. So figure out which is the biggest lens that you have. In my case, it's a 77mm. So get yourself a 77mm, and then you can get step down rings so that you can fit a 77 onto, say, a 72mm lens. You can't go the other way because you will see the border of the filter in your photographs, but you can get a bigger filter onto a smaller lens. Now, the other type of these square ones here, and these require a bracket to be fitted to the front of the lens. But personally, I prefer this system, the square one, because it allows you to either put in the filter or take it out a lot easier than the other ones. You don't have to screw them on. And also, you can layer multiple filters onto the same lens. So now I'm going to take you down to the rocks where we're going to get really close to the water, and we're going to grab some shots and see what they look like. right, so I'm here. I don't know if you can hear me because it's really, really noisy here. And also I'm very, very close to the water, but I've got the camera set up in there. I've got a composition that I'm going to show you. I don't have the ND filter on at this time. Sorry about the audio, it's very windy here, but I don't have the ND filter at this time, but I'm going to show you without it. I'm going to optimize the camera to let me drag the shutter as long as possible, and we'll see what kind of values it allows me to take. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see this, but so I've set the ISO to 50. I have got my aperture at f22, and it's saying that the fastest that I can shoot, or the slowest that I can shoot, is at 1/13 of a second, which is not going to be enough, but I'm going to snap this picture anyway to show you what that looks like. And just show you what that looks like. It's not really going to work for what we want to do, but I'll let you get to see the photo. Okay, I've put the ND filter on, and now it's telling me that I can shoot at 1/15 of a second, and I've actually opened up the lens to f16 just to get a little bit of extra sharpness so that it doesn't suffer from diffraction. So we're going to take this shot and I'll show you the difference between the two. And as you can see, that's much better. That's exactly what we were after. It's captured everything that happened in those 15 seconds, and it's got that nice silky texture to it in the water. You can't tell it's water, it's just got this silky texture to it, which looks gorgeous. So as you can see, there's a massive difference between the two. Now, if I didn't have my ND filter, I would just have to wait until it gets a little bit darker. But having the ND filter just gives you that flexibility to do this during the middle of the day. Anyway, guys, that's everything for this video. If you did like it, please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. That's the best place to get in touch with me. Otherwise, any of the usual social media platforms. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.